All right, guys, Jeff Mills here. On the other side of the screen, you see Michael Price, and this is going to be a great interview. Michael, are you excited to do this interview?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about PLS and what Neil and a lot of the top income earners have done, and you specifically doing such a great job of interviewing a lot of these people. I'm getting a wealth of nuggets from just listening.
I mean, it's awakened in everybody who's been watching these presentations and learning people's story. It's awakened a whole new passion. I've seen so many reports in our Facebook group of people getting commissions out of the blue, of people being awakened, of people like coming back to systems that they used to not use anymore, and even Frank Calabro's coming all in. I mean, the system and the people here are amazing, and it's about to get so much better and just explode.
Yeah, I think the thing for me that I've noticed is like when I create presentations about our system and I haven't done one, let's say, in a while, and I get reminded of all the features and all the functionality that we've added over the years, I get impressed and go, wow, we've got so much. So it's been the same thing with the interviews when I realize, wow, there are so many nuggets here, and look at the quality of the people that are promoting what we have to offer. Look at the quality of the products that we have.
Yeah.
I get jacked up, So
Well, we got a lot of cover. We got a lot of cover. We got a lot to cover in today's interview because we're talking to the founder of Duplicatable Marketing Systems, Michael Price. And before we get into the story of how you got into that and why that was a big need for you and when that all took place, we want to get to know you, Michael Price, as just a human being, the father, and what you do. Like, just tell us about yourself, whatever you want to volunteer about yourself, your family, and just help us get into your world a little bit.
Okay. I don't know how far. I used to hear guys say, well, I was born at a very young age. I could go way back, right? But I'll start with my business experience. Well, I will share a little bit. I struggled with drugs and alcohol in my early teenage years and dropped out of college. And then, thanks to my parents, they put me in a treatment center in 1980. So I'm 61, and I was 22 years old at the time, and so people don't have to do the math. And then I thought, if I just don't drink and don't do drugs, I'm going to live happily ever after. And that was a rude awakening, and realized, I need to make a decision. Do I want to go back to college? I had finished 2 years, or I loved helping people. And I had a mentor who said, hey, you can go back to college and you can help people that you meet in the business world, because I had a passion for business. So I was a marketing major. And so I came out and I did what, I was taught, get a typical job. Ended up working a job for a major division of a Fortune 100 company back. They had headquarters up in Minnesota. Very cold. We had our annual meetings in January. I'm like, why? They would take us to these ice parades, right? And I'm like, it's cold.
It's a new experience. Most people never get to experience that. So you should have new things in your life. That's why.
Yeah, it wasn't a get to for me, Jeff. It was Roseville. If you know where Roseville is in January, the ice parade. I'm like, no thanks. So anyway, I did really well there in 1988. I was sales rep of the year, and they would send us on these trips. And I was in the Bahamas, or not the Bahamas, the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas specifically. And then I took this little ferry boat ride to an island called Trunk Bay. And Trunk Bay is like one of those travel posters, right? Palm trees, sugar white, soft sand, water that you see clear to the bottom. They had this sign, and you'd flip it, and it was like the weather. It was perfect or very, very good. You flip it, perfect, very, very good. It was 82 degrees, blue sky. And I'm sitting on that beach, long story short, and I looked down and I saw two guys on a sailboat. And I thought, man, those guys, they probably own that sailboat. And, they probably picked this location because that's where they want to go. And as much as, here I was on this company-sponsored trip, and it was free, it wasn't the location that I picked. It was a great location. And I knew I didn't own that sailboat. I figured they probably made a couple $100,000. I made over $100,000 that year in 1988, which for me was good. But I knew that going back, what my company was going to do was probably jack up my quota considerably. So it would have been a lot harder to make the same amount of money. And that's when I first got introduced to home-based businesses. And, April 1st, 1990 was 5 years to the day that I became vested with NCR, was the parent company, the Fortune 100 company. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till I get vested. And actually, like 2 months ago, I just started getting my first pension check. So I think $408 a month for the rest of my life, right? But I realized, in late 1988, early 1989, I think I got introduced to network marketing, and I thought, man, what a great business model! I can leverage the efforts of other people. So that's part of how I got involved with that, and I think we can come back to that. I got married in 2004, got 3 precious young kids. Unfortunately, that ended after 10 years, and I have sole custody of those 3 kids. So I'm not going to go into the details and the reasons for that, but I will say this industry, I wouldn't have my kids if it weren't for this industry, and because, the Lord has blessed me with a lot of success, mainly through PLS, that I make a very good figure, multiple figure income from home. So I can do sole custody of my kids. I can drive them to school in the morning, pick them up from school, and spend quality time with them. We're just got a couple of dirt bikes for my sons, and it's the first time I've had a dirt bike, and we're riding out the hills in Arizona. So it's a blessed life in a lot of ways because of freedom. Freedom is a really big, important value for me.
Awesome. Let's take it to the point where you realized network marketing was a model that was successful, that people could leverage other people's efforts. You could, make money on all their efforts. And then you started to realize people needed marketing systems. They needed a platform, a house, a place. How did you come to that understanding of that need? We're talking really early. You guys, we're going back to before America Online.
Yeah.
But when did you start figuring out okay, I got to build something online. I got to build a platform that lets people do capture pages, email mark. We're talking this stuff was in your systems way back in the day, and people think this is all new in 2019. You're doing this in 2000 and even before that, right?
1999 is when we first started creating. I started my company in 1996. Priceless Possibilities. My last name is Price. That's where they came from. And it's funny you mentioned AOL, because when I worked for NCR from 1985 to 1990, I sold very large computer systems that connected to IBM mainframes and things like that. But I didn't have a personal computer. So it wasn't until I think around 1995 with the AOL days when I got my own personal computer. And when the light bulb went on for me with the internet was I had gotten involved in the coaching world. I did some coaching. I was one of 10 paid trainers to support Tony Robbins and travel around the world with him doing one-on-one and group coaching of his key participants afterwards. And I did a search on AOL for coaches. So I got I think it was 120 something coaches. And I put out a AOL message, like an email to those coaches. And I had a 27% response. And it basically was something to the effect of, hey, if I could sell your books and tapes and products for you, would you give me 50% of the profit? And 27% of the people who had never heard from me, I didn't have any website or anything like that, they had no clue who I was, responded and said yes. And I was blown away. I thought, if you get a 2 or 3 or 5% response rate, that's great. But so the light bulb that went on for me, Jeff, was, wow, the internet allows me to target a unique group, create a marketing message, send it to that group, and if I get, half decent response, that would work. Getting back to your question, when I started supporting network marketing. I got involved. The first company was Melaleuca in 1991, and realized for whatever reason that wasn't the right one for me. And then I got involved in the second company. They had over 300,000 people in 2 years, and I was in the month they went under. So here's the key. No message here. The month they went under, I had gotten into the top 100 recruiters. And so I'm all excited. I'm ready to explode, I had this big, piece of paper on my wall with goals and circles and all that. And I'm just seeing it ready to take off. And they got shut down. And that blew my mind. I was like, wow, I have no I asked myself this question: what if I could create a product or service that anyone could, everyone, not anyone, everyone could use in a company? And then the thought came in, what if I could create a product or service that could be used by everyone in any company? And that's where the idea got born for Priceless Possibilities. I started out doing live training events, and then I quickly realized in live training events, I can't serve the masses. And so in 1999, that's when I realized, well, I started to put together a training site because that was my passion, doing training and coaching from Tony Robbins and so forth. But by talking to a lot of leaders in the industry, they were like, they had a revolving door. And so I figured, yeah, they need training to keep people in, but they were so focused on recruiting. And I realized, you know what? There are not systems online for developing recruiting. So that's when we started developing custom recruiting systems in 1999.
Okay, let me take this. Are you a programmer by nature? Did you learn how to do HTML, JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, C++, all these technical things that people who are super smart have to know how to do?
No, I don't
So
know.
How did you learn to build a system? What entrepreneur skill did you acquire to realize you needed to delegate? And how did you find these people that could do this with what was in your brain and make it like real on the digital world?
What popped up in my mind right now is the example of Henry Ford. You know, if you read a lot, leaders are readers, right? And, you know, you read autobiographies of people that have been really successful, and you find out, I don't remember whether it was third grade or sixth grade or whatever, that Henry Ford, you know, that was the level of his education. He wasn't this, you know, brilliant by scholarly standards person, but he was brilliant enough to know that, you know, one of the sayings I heard is, you know, you don't know what you don't know, but he knew people that did. So he surrounded himself with a group of people who did. So I had the concept or the idea of what I wanted, and then I had started hiring programmers.
So you just found random people. You went to like Odesk, or you found a company that specializes in marketing systems, because we're talking about something that really, in my opinion, didn't really exist at the time. Like I think you are a godfather of creating marketing systems before marketing systems were cool. I didn't see my first marketing system until probably 2003, 2004, and even understand the concept until then. And that makes me an ancient person too, but you know, you're talking 2000 or 1996 and onward. So,
well, 1999 for the program. 96 was when I started Priceless Possibilities, and that's when I was doing the live training. You know,
yeah.
And literally it was in.
Do you remember what your first platform was, or who used it, or how it worked?
It was a company
called Manatech. It was easy.
Yeah, it was a company called Manatech, and I had started, and I was doing live trainings for them, and you know, and then I got introduced to, and that was part of my. I used to do training on a program called How to Get Unending Referrals, and I met a guy named Richard Christopher, and this is hopefully a very key point that people will really appreciate, that you could use in whatever business you're promoting. I came across this guy I'll remember him hopefully for the rest of my life, by the name of Richard Christopher. He only had 3 people underneath him in Manatech. And, you know, so he wasn't this wildly successful top income earner, anything like that. And with the program, what I was looking to model, Jeff, was, you know, one of the things that Tony Robbins talks about is success leaves clues. So I looked at, how did Tony Robbins get started? You know, when he used to work for Jim Rohn, and what he would do is he'd go around to businesses, he'd share for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, some success tips, sales skills, whatever, and then invite people to buy a ticket to the live webinar. But he was leading with giving value first and then making an offer afterwards, right? So what I was looking to model was doing a free training on my How to Get Unending Referrals for 55 minutes out of an hour. And then for the last 5 minutes, give people an opportunity that wanted to purchase a 4-week training program where they get more of the details on my referral program. Because this is a program I taught Tony Robbins Sales Organization in 1998, got a raving review from that, and I was able to leverage that. And so when I met Richard Christopher, I'm like, 3 people, that's not going to cut it. But basically what I did was I created value for him by saying, hey, look, you know, I can't do this program for free for 3 people. So I need a lot more people, you know, but by you introducing me to someone that has a large organization, then it would be worth my time. Then you, your 3 people, and anybody and everybody could get access to my free training on referrals, which is going to get you in front of a lot more prospects for your home-based business. So then the assumptive close there, or question was, who do you know that's a top income earner in Manatech that has access to a large number of people that would really like to grow their business? And he immediately said, oh, you should talk to Ray Gebauer. I'm like, well, who's Ray? Well, he's the #2 income earner. How do I get a hold of him? He gave me his contact information. I then contacted Ray, shared with him the concept, giving value first. Hey, Ray, here's who I am. You know, I've been very successful in you know, corporate world, and also in a home-based business. And I put together a program on how to get unending referrals. I even trained Tony Robbins' sales organization on this. Here's what I'd like to do for you. I'd like to provide a free training to your people, lead with free, create value first. And I'll do that for 55 minutes out of an hour. And then for the last 5 minutes, I'd like to share an overview of how people that want more can attend a 4-week coaching program that I'm going to do so that it can take them further. So that worst case, the people that don't want to do the 4 weeks, they get something really valuable for free. Best case, the people that want to go further, that pay for this, doesn't cost you anything, Ray. They pay for it. They'll learn a lot. They'll get in front of a lot more prospects. They'll grow their Manatech business, and you'll make a lot more money. Fair enough? And he's like, great, sure. So he then, long story short with that, it's part of my referral program actually. I got him, well, it's a long time ago, so I guess I can say it now. I got him to give me access to the presidential list. It was the top 300 money earners in Manatech. And I went through that list, and one of the things I teach in my referral program, which is part of Master Traffic Institute, by the way, I think I have 5 hours of this program in there, and this, in addition to everyone, all the other amazing content providers, everybody I believe should have Master Traffic Institute. One of the questions I learned was to ask this question. So I asked Ray, if you were me, so first of all, getting that directory, that's what I teach in my referral program. And that's why you should have Master Traffic Institute, #1. #2, once I had that directory, the first question I asked Ray was, Ray, if you were me, who would you contact first and why? So he's like, oh, you should contact this person, and this person. And then when I said, well, why, thank you, why should I contact this person first? And he told me their why. And when I knew their why, when I followed up with them, there's a specific script that I have in my referral program that I teach in Master Traffic, in that course, my course on referrals in Master Traffic Institute, which was, you know, hi, Ray Gebauer suggested I give you a call. So specific script of what do you say, when do you say it, how do you say it? Because it's called syntax, is the word I heard from Tony Robbins. It's not just what you say and how you say it, but when you say it. Because the syntax of when you do things is critical to your results. For example, I could have my kids brush their teeth before bedtime and then go have something to eat after brushing their teeth. Or they could eat and then brush their teeth. They're doing the same 2 things, but the order in which they do them has a big difference on the quality of the health of their teeth, right? Mm-hmm. Eat your food, brush your teeth, go to bed, instead of brush your teeth, eat some food, go to bed, right? So I have a specific script and the specific order of what to say, how to say it, when to say it, so that when you call that referral, instead of having their guard up, I like to use the analogy of a boxer, right? Boxer doesn't want to get hit in the face, so they have their guard up. If you get a phone call from someone and you don't recognize their voice, what do? You probably have your guard up, right? Like, oh, it's a salesperson, right? And they probably want to sell me something, so you put your guard up. But what happens is your ears get covered, in the analogy I like to use, and then you don't really hear what someone's saying. When you follow my script, people take their guard down, then they can hear what the person's saying. Then they're open to hearing what you'd say. And then I'd let them know, hey, Ray Gebauer suggested I give you a call. Here's the reason why. And then I would feedback their why. Well, Ray said that, blah, 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 blah. And here's what I can do for you. And then I would introduce myself. Oh, by the way, this is who I am. You know, I used to train Tony's sales organization on my referral program. Here's what I'm willing to do for you. Okay. So I don't know how far off I went from your question.
Well, I'll bring it back. Okay. We're talking about, you know, as these tools and techniques you use, you're teaching teams how to use a replicatable marketing system. And you're showing them early on in the history of marketing systems how a marketing system would help them grow their business. So now you brought these leaders, you've got the presidential list through whatever means you got it from. And then you're saying, come use this marketing system. What happened, Michael? What was the results? Did your marketing system blow this thing up? Did it work?
Yeah.
Did it fail? Did you struggle? Like, what happened? What was the result?
Yeah, okay, so hopefully I'll focus on that part of the question. What really touched me, Jeff, was, you know, I have a passion, as you could probably tell, about this because I know it works. It changed my life. I was able to sell a whole lot more. I can give a little snippet of back in, 1981, I think. After I stopped drinking and doing drugs, I started selling alarms. And I was averaging like 1 out of 20. And it was a long 2-hour presentation. I drive there, drive back, wearing a suit and tie. And, and I was frustrated. I wasn't making money. I was ready to quit. And then I got a directory. So again, getting back to the directory, how important it is to get a list of key influential people. I guess I'm going to share this story and then it'll remind me, and I'll tie it right into the technology. I sold an alarm to this woman. I asked her the typical question, who do you know? And this was in Washington, D.C., when Washington, D.C. was the murder capital of the U.S., right? So, there's crime everywhere. And I'm like, who do you know that would be interested in protecting their home and family from the thugs in the neighborhood? She's like, I don't know, but when I do, I'll give you a what? I'll give you a call, right? So you know that lady too, right? So I'm like, yeah. So I tried all the things I had been trained on. But then I asked her and I found out she was the president of this organization. And I'm like, well, how many people are in? So again, this is the power of asking questions. It's why, so I'll show you this. I wrote a book called Questions Are the Answer. What are you asking for? The importance of asking quality questions. So I asked her a question. Well, how many people are in your organization? This is in the 80s prior to computers, right? She said, oh, about 300. I'm like, well, how do you have their information? Do you have them on little pieces of paper? And she pointed to a bookcase and she said, no, I have them in a directory right over there. Well, what did I want? I wanted that directory. Long story short, I'm not going to go into how. That's in my referral program. I got that directory. Who should I call first and why? There's another key tip, right? She told me who to contact. I went in the next 90 days to being in the top 5 out of 300 people. They had a sales contest. And I went from 1 out of every 20, 5% closing rate to about a 52% closing rate. I increased my sales like tenfold, literally. So I knew the value of that. So I'm really passionate about that. So I was doing that at my live trainings. Probably get emotional here. So I trained this organization in Houston, Texas. And these 2 women in their 80s, I think they were 78 to 82, came up to me. And they were so thankful, these beautiful elderly women. And they were like, thank you so, they thanked me profusely. Thank you so much for your training. They were in this company called Meakin, and we're living on our Social Security check. And we know we're passionate about this industry, but we didn't know what to do. And what I realized right then, Jeff, was my passion for helping people. That's why I got touched by Rob's interview yesterday when he got emotional, is I care about people and I want people to have the results, what this industry has done for me. I want them to have it too. And I realized then I can't be everywhere and I can't train everyone at the same time. I need to create systems. And that's when I went into, I'm going to create training systems. Well, when I started talking to top income earners, they were all about, we want to recruit. We'll train our own people. And so I just gave people what they wanted. They wanted marketing and recruiting systems. And long story short, from there, one of the very first systems we put together, lead capture page. I had a woman who was a single mom, and she only had like 15 minutes a day between work, getting home, feeding her kids, getting them to bed. And by then it's 9 o'clock. It's too late to call anybody. But because we had a lead capture page, she'd get about 5 leads a day. She'd just share her link out there. You know, I don't even know what was out at the time, but she shared her link, and she'd get like 2 people a day that were that had entered their contact information. And what she told me, and the light bulb that went on for me, was that enabled her to be as effective as possible in the 15 minutes that she had, the very small window that she had to talk to prospects. She was talking to people that were really interested instead of wasting her time on tire kickers. And that's the same thing that I found with once I got that directory and I was selling alarms, I only talked to people that were really interested in what I had to offer. I only gave presentations to people that were really interested, and that's why my results went up considerably. Does that answer your question?
So let's come back to a question I have about marketing systems. So with the marketing systems you built back in the day, what were the core elements that you would think made those systems successful for the people who use them? What needed to be in place? What makes a good system work on a digital marketing platform?
Well, I think a lot of the same basic things as today, you know, a capture page system so that you can drive people to a page. And the fact that we had unlimited, and still do, of course, have unlimited lead capture pages. So, for example, the needs of a college student are radically different than the needs of a single parent, and they're radically different than an elderly couple that's looking to retire. Or, you know, product A versus product B versus product C. There are companies that sell all kinds of different things. And, you know, and I had a hard time initially, and then I needed to learn how to answer this question. You know, the leaders were like, hey, people are tight on their money. Why are they going to pay you? We were charging $20 a month back in 1999. Why are they going to pay you $20 a month for a marketing system when our company provides one for free? And here's the answer to that. Well, you get a free system from your company, but your company provides one system that's trying to sell all of your products to any and everybody. And there's a saying in marketing that confused mind says no. So someone goes to the website and they're seeing every product you have, and you're trying to address the needs of a college student versus a single mom versus an elderly person, and it just doesn't work as well as. So we created the ability to have unlimited lead capture pages. So you could have a lead capture page that had a headline and a video specific to the needs of a college student versus a different lead capture page that had a different headline and a different video for the needs of a single parent, et cetera, et cetera. Product A, product B, product C. So what we did is we had capture pages, number one. So the more prospects, you know, so again, it all came back to focusing your time and energy on only the people that were really interested in what you had to offer. It's a lot more fun, and you get a lot better results. So lead capture pages, unlimited. Number two, a contact management system. You need to be able to capture, once those people were captured, you needed to be able to write notes on them. I found that, you know, I could write notes. We created the functionality to create notes, reminders. When do I follow up with this person? How do I rate this person? Do I want to rate them a 1 or a 10 or whatever, so that I can, if I was like that single mom and I only had 15 minutes, I want to work with my best prospects during those 15 minutes. I want to remember my conversations that I had with them, you know, yesterday, last week, last month. What's their hot buttons, etc. Does that make sense? So that was very important. And then we developed the functionality for an email campaign system. So the fact that we could automate and say, hey, you want to have a, you know, in marketing, they used to say, I don't know what it is today, 7 to 12 exposures before someone's ready to buy your product or service. Well, and I thought when I started studying top internet marketers in 2007 specifically, I didn't understand the importance of a lead capture page. I thought if you put a lead capture page in front of a sales page, and let's say 25% of the people, put in their contact information in the lead capture page, that meant only 25% of the people are seeing the sales page. So in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. How am I going to sell more if only 25% of the people get to see the sales page? Wouldn't I be better off just letting everybody see the sales page? The answer is no. And the reason why is because when you capture their contact information from that lead capture page, put them in your contact management system, or what our system does automatically, but then follow up with a series of email messages, you can remind them over and over and over again. You can educate them in bite-sized pieces about your product, about your opportunity, and then drive them back to the sales page again and again and again, so that you're a lot more likely. One of the things I like is the bottom line is the bottom line. So the bottom line is you'll sell a lot more putting a lead capture page in front of a sales page, because once you capture that information, then you can market to them repeatedly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'm gonna come back in here. So as you progressed with the idea of creating systems for companies, people approached you from different teams, different groups, different companies. You started building these platforms on top of your technology for basically everybody. I think you were charging $15,000 to $50,000 for these platforms, and a lot of people paid that to get these replicatable platforms they could give to their teams, and they could use it to do the things you just said: lead capture pages, autoresponders, CRM, people management and tracking. And then someone came knocking on your door, which you knew because he was a customer of yours.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then the idea of PLS was pitched to you. What was your initial reaction to that? Did you like his idea? Were you a little like, oh no, I'm going to lose these $25,000 deals I'm doing? Was it an easy sale for you, or did you take some convincing, some arm twisting on that?
Well, it's exciting to hear the story, to share the story of it, because we had built 4 custom systems for Neil prior to that. And our business model, as you said, is we were charging on average $15,000 to create a custom recruiting system. It included 2 sales funnels, one about the product and one about the opportunity. And that was what was valuable and justified it. And when we would charge someone $15,000, like Neil as an example, in creating a custom recruiting system for a company like Global Resorts Network or Solvay or some of these companies, then we gave him exclusive marketing rights. And we said, hey, here's our price. What do you want to charge on top of it? So he was making money on every person using our marketing system, but the members using our system, we had a refer 3 and it's free, and a lot of people loved that. Some people refer 3 people and they didn't pay the monthly fee, and they're like, wow, this is great. But we had other people that are like, I'm going to tell everybody on my team because it's going to help them sell more products and recruit more reps. So they'd refer 10, 20, 50, 100 people. And the big problem was they came to us and said, and this is what Neil solved with PLS. They said, we love your marketing system. Here's the problem. We want to get paid. We'd say, sorry, we don't do that. Well, we were paying Neil, but we weren't paying everybody else. So long story short, back in 2013, I think it was the beginning of the summer, Empower Network was being big with their 100% commissions. And Neil came to me and said, hey, I'd like to develop another custom system. I'm like, sure. What's the product? And he said, your system. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Because, I had the thought at times of, wow, it'd be great if, our product, our service was an MLM, but I didn't want to go there and be involved with all the legal and everything else. So Neil came to us with that. And then he added this, right? And he's like, well, and I want to pay out 100% commission. So I'm like, how do you do that? How do we get paid, right? That's the question. So long story short, that's how the beginning came of PLS. $30 monthly fee, which is the average price we've had now for over 15 years for the marketing system. And then he added the $23.97 a month fee on to be an affiliate. But we didn't just want to have this, hey, you're paying to get commission kind of thing. So I went to Max Steingart, who I've known, who's the creator of an amazing program called Endless Free Leads Mobile. And I met Max training for Manitech back in probably 2000, I think, so almost 20 years ago now. And Max was selling, his product for a lot of money. And I said, Max, let's create the win-win. Let us have your system at no charge. We give it to our affiliates, and then we'll send out an email once a month. So it's all about creating value. Hopefully people are getting that message here. You can create a lot of different things as long as you get creative and create value for other people. And so, you know, hey, Max, you know, we'll put out an email for your webinar once a month, and you can sell your other products if you let us have endless free leads for free. So we have that for free, which we include for the affiliates. So that's what got started. And then I had been studying a guy by the name of Jeff Walker, who does product launches. And I went to Neil and I said, hey, let's do a product launch on this. So I think we had literally, Jeff, like 450 something thousand people opted in for free for the 30 days prior to us going live. I think it was October 1st, 2013 with PLS, and had a lot of people sign up. It was extremely exciting. Extremely.
and it's been fun for me because I've been a part of the journey since.
Yes, you have.
Neil kind of pitched you on the idea. He also pitched me on the idea very early on, and I acted as, you know, an advisor for a lot of things that you guys get. I got to help Neil, you know, idea spec it and figure it all out. And here we are, you know, 6 years later. And you know, companies, as you've mentioned many times, companies come and go. You guys, MLM companies, they look strong and they feel strong, and they go for decades, or, you know, double decades or triple decades, but then they go away. Every Wednesday around 9 to 10 o'clock p.m. my time zone, I get a message from a system called Paylution that I've got some money waiting for me, and that's been consistently happening for 6 years. It's never stopped. How is it that your platform can stay financially afloat, and like it's not some pyramid scheme where you're taking money from the bottom to pay money on the top? How come it works? Well, why does it work that it sustains itself and it can keep paying everybody these huge commissions, and you and Neil still get to make your little side spiffs too, and the company can keep running? How does that work financially?
Well, we're paying out 100% of the $30 customer fee. So, and then, you know, credit card processing comes out of that. We pass that on to the affiliate and so forth. But 100% of that, I don't get a penny out of that. I don't get a penny out of a lot of other things like the like Lead Lightning. That was Neil's idea, which is a brilliant idea, by the way. So I want to acknowledge Neil for that and thank him for that. It was my idea. I had created the free lead system prior to PLS, and when Solivay was the last system Neil had prior to that, I was like, Neil, you got to add the free lead system. And he said, no, I think at least 5 times. So hopefully that's a gem that people will listen to, that just because someone says no once or twice or 5 times, go back again. If you really believe in something, you know, don't waste your time. But if you have something really valuable, and finally the light bulb went on for him with that. And then he created Lead Lightning, which was brilliant. But we're not getting money from one person and paying it to another, which is what the typical pyramid scheme thing is. It's, we get commissions from, you know, the $30 customer fee, and we pay that out. 20 of the 30, which if you look at affiliate programs, even top internet marketers, they pay 50% on most of them. If you're an affiliate for their product or service, 20 of the 30 is 66.66, or I'll round it up, 67%, right? And then the 50% match, which is Neil's idea, or maybe your idea with Neil, whatever, brilliant idea. That's, you know, getting 33% on your second level. You know, I've seen 50 or 40 and 10, or, you know, 50 and 0 or whatever. So the fact that we pay 67% and 33% on the top 2 levels is some of the highest compensation I've seen. And then we have upsells that are automated now. You know, you get free leads, you can give away a free lead system. And all this, by the way, is now in the Roadmap to Riches. I spent about a week updating that.
We'll cover that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. Keep going.
But, you know, we have upsell products, and, you know, we're paying out about 80% commission on those. So I alluded to Master Traffic Institute, which I believe in wholeheartedly. If you look at the top income earners invest in themselves, because yourself is the best thing you can invest in for your business. Well, they invest in, we've got 3 products, you know. Free ad secrets, $147 one time. We pay out $100, and we pay out on direct sales, and $25 on your second level. The other $22 is credit card processing and goes to Neil. We don't get any of that. Okay. And then Social Profit Academy, which you created, a great program, $495. We pay out $400, roughly 80%, and then $50, $450. Credit card processing goes to Neil. You get the idea, right? And then Master Traffic Institute, $1,497, which to me, I've paid more than that over and over and over again for one product that's got courses from a lot of the top income earners. Invaluable, even if no one underneath you ever bought it. But when someone does, your direct sales, you get $1,000 commission plus $200, I think it is on the second level, paying out $200 of the $1,500, 80% commission again, unheard of. So we're only paying out of sales. We're not paying from Peter to pay Paul. We're paying from sales.
Yep. So as long as you guys keep using the system and keep doing your monthly memberships, this thing's going to keep going. And even if it had one person, it could still afford itself and keep going. It's a system that will always work, you guys. It's never going to go away because people need systems. People need training, and they need tools, and they need the resources, and everything you need to be successful in life and in business is in this one house called the Power Lead System. And you're watching this video because either you're a part of it, so just plug in deeper if you haven't done so yet, or maybe you're just checking us out. You're not really sure if this is right for you. Man, watch a lot of these videos, plug in the trainings, go to those Wednesdays and Thursday night trainings with Franco. He's amazing. And he's going to show you guys some ways people are using the platform and making money with it and changing their lives. I want to transition now, Michael, to talk about some tool that you've created. And I would call it like a passion project, a life project, but you've created this amazing tool called Roadmap to Riches. I'm going to show people what this tool is and where to find it in their back office. So I'm going to bring up a website here. This is my back office inside the Power Lead System. If you hover over training here, this is where all the courses you've bought in the Power Lead System will show up here. So there's a training area. Here's the Social Profit Academy, the free ad secrets, endless free leads from Max Steingart, Master Traffic Academy, the Power VIP Club, which has lots of templates and page codes you can use to build lead capture pages, Master Traffic Institute, which is the big program, and then this one right here, Roadmap to Riches. When you click on it, it takes you to a page here where you just got to click on this link that says click here and download Roadmap to Riches. And then it's got, here's a little overview of the 6 different sections of the PDF book. So here's the PDF. It's 134 pages. It's pretty thick. Michael, what are we going to learn when we start taking people through this thing?
Well, you mentioned the word tools, so I'm going to digress just real briefly on that. And that's a tagline that I like to use, which is tools plus training. So you talked about training. Those are the products I just mentioned, the one-time products that PLS offers, equals transformation. So if you don't have a proper tool, let's say you wanted to cut down a forest, right? And you have an axe, right? You can only cut, it's going to take you a long time to cut down a tree. But if someone gave you a chainsaw, you'll be able to cut down a lot more trees a lot faster and a lot easier. So having the proper tool is invaluable. But if you don't know how to use that chainsaw, how valuable would it be? Even though it's way more valuable if you know how to use it as opposed to using an axe, right? So the reason I put together Roadmap to Riches is because I wanted to make sure people understood the valuable tools that we have and specifically how to use them. So accomplish both, because the end goal is transforming your business, which will then transform your life. Okay, so there are a lot of clickable links in this. Jeff is on page 3, I think, which is the table of contents. If you want to, I've got instructions there at the very top. The black text tells you how to click on the links, how specifically to click on it, so you can go to any specific place. Actually, on page 2, the page before this, I give you, a couple basics on how to get the most out of the Roadmap to Riches. And my suggestion there is to do it in chronological order. Don't skip anything. I use the analogy of baking a cake. If you've never baked a cake, you've never been successful at that, you've never built a home-based business, you've never made money from home, could you, let's use the analogy of baking a cake. Could you bake a cake if you bought a box, right? and it had all the ingredients there. You don't even have to go get the eggs or anything. You just get the ingredients, and it tells you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Preheat the oven. Okay, pour this cake batter into a pan. Lightly grease the pan. Pour the batter. Mix in a little bit of water. Mix in an egg. Mix it up. Pour it in the pan. When the oven's heated up, stick it in the oven for 40 minutes. Boom, there's your cake. Whatever. You get the idea. Anybody, if you follow the simple instructions, can do that, right? Same thing here. This roadmap to riches, I'm not going to even say if, when you follow the instructions on this, anybody can, quote, bake a cake, meaning you can make money from home, from anywhere. Okay. So
let me ask you this. So if a person joins the Power Lead system, let's say they're brand new, they just got started, they're going to get a 7-day trial. They kind of poke their head into things, build some things, set up some stuff, and really see if they want to stick around and promote this thing. Is one of the first things they should do should it be to read this document? Would you advise us to tell our new recruits, the new people that are now subscribers to the system, to go through this as one of their first steps, or does by not going through this, does that hurt them in the end by not understanding marketing? Maybe, like, what's your advice on that?
Great question. Absolutely, I believe people should, number one. So great question, Jeff. Number two, there's an acronym that I learned back in, I think it was 2002. I was at an opportunity meeting I like to attend to learn from top income earners. And this guy had said, if you think about it, so I'll ask the question, how many people would want to have freedom? How many people would want to make a lot more money, right? How many people would like to be healthier, wealthier? Everybody would say yes if you ask just that question, right? So why doesn't everyone join a home-based business or a business opportunity, whatever it is, affiliate program? Because they're asking themselves this question: can I do it? I don't care how much money Jeff Mills makes, Frank Calabro makes, Franco, Rob Ford, any one of those, anybody, right? It's, can I do it? So just seeing that we have a blueprint and knowing what's in it should give people the belief that, just like, hey, I'm not a baker, but okay, I got this box and it gives me simple directions on how to bake this cake. Okay, now I believe that I can bake this cake. All right, now I'm going to try. If people don't believe it, they won't do it. Whatever we believe, we do. So if you don't believe you're going to do it, you won't even try it. Okay. So yes, absolutely, I believe they should go through it. They should go through it in order and look at the leaders. Rob, who was interviewed yesterday, said, hey, he just started back with PLS again. He says, I went through it twice. I'm like, Rob, did you get the latest version that we had uploaded this week? Oh, no, I did it last week's version. I'll bet you he goes through the new version. Probably already has. Mm-hmm. Frank Calabro Jr., how did he have the massive success that he had? He said he attended every training. He watched every hangout for a long time, right? Franco does an amazing job on Wednesday and Thursday nights. So if you look at what the successful people do, they take advantage of the tools that are there, the trainings that is there, and they go through it. They don't try and recreate the wheel.
Awesome. So I'm going to kind of summarize and get us back to some closing thoughts here, you guys. You got to hear from one of the creators of the technology behind this platform that allows it to do the special things that some of us, all of us, has come to know and love and build upon and even create our own ideas and our own stuff. It's such a powerful. We've used this analogy in several different videos, but the Swiss Army knife of marketing. You could pull the different pins on the Army knife and do different things with that. And we heard this great analogy today about you don't have to know how to bake a cake, but if you get the ingredients and the instructions and you follow those instructions, you can be successful in baking of that cake. You actually could probably bake a cake that people would eat and enjoy. It would taste good, and they give you some props at the end. If you follow the recipe for success in building a business and marketing and getting people in front of an offer and learning how to go find, like Michael shared today, how to go find lists and how to go find out where those people hang out, or how to go acquire lists, or if they're not, people don't use like buying lists as much as they used to back in the day, because that was the only way you used to do it. Now you go find people where they hang out. Where are they hanging out? They're hanging out on Facebook. They're hanging out basically in their email. And that might sound weird, but so many people in Power Lead System get their sales from solo ads, which is just people checking their email, seeing an inquisitive email with a nice headline, a nice subject line that gets them to click and open that email. And then they click on the link in that email, which takes them to the front door of a capture page. And then the miracle of marketing automation takes place. This is the stuff that we get to use and play with every single day. And oh man, so many people have just not got it. They just didn't get it and they left. And I feel so bad for them because they've missed out on something that so many thousands of people now are having a resurgence of income. Like I shared, I think the other day, I'm getting commissions in my marketing platform. My PLS platform is getting sales from people popping out of the woodworks that I don't even know, and I haven't sent the link out in some time. So it's rebirthing, and you see in the Facebook group, people are becoming awakened and they're becoming excited again, and they're sharing things again, and they really realize now what we have, and they're like, there's no way I would ever go do anything else other than doing this, because this is going to be around for a long time. And even Frank Calabro Jr. and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and he said to me, he says, man, I've been promoting all these other things for years and years and years, and PLS was kind of like my add-on. He said, if I would have reversed all that, if I would have just led with PLS as my main company, my main platform, my main income stream, he would have probably made $3 or $4 million, and he'd be getting residual checks every single Wednesday of probably $50,000 to $80,000 every single week. And once he realized that he could do this, he says, I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go now into something I should have done. And I'm just going to start doing it. And you guys, coming up in a few weeks, we will be having Frank Calabro Jr. on an interview where he will probably confirm what I'm telling you is true. And oh gosh, when you get to hear what he's doing, you guys, it's pretty amazing how he's exploding his business. So Michael, I'm going to wrap it up here, send it over to you to make just any final hit wonder comments you want to just throw out there to people, any encouragements you want to give people, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up today.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I'll piggyback on what you said with Frank, because I talked to him, I think it was on Monday, the beginning of this week, whenever, and it was very exciting for me. And, what I recognized, if you look at let's go back to the gold rush days in the 1800s, right? People were looking for gold, and some people found gold, but there were some other people that got really rich who never found gold. Those were the people that sat in front of the river and they sold picks and shovels and pans and Levi's, because every miner needed a pick, a shovel, a pan, Levi's. So what's the gold rush of today? It's people that are desperately looking for additional income and freedom. They want to do it from home, from anywhere in the world, travel, lifestyle, whatever. And we have the tools. So we are a tool suite, a tool company. You talked about the Swiss Army knife. So we can provide, when you really boil down the Power Lead System, what it is, it's these four things. We're a lead generation tool, okay? Everybody needs leads. The more prospects you have, the more products you're going to sell or service, whatever. So through the free lead system and Lead Lightning, we help people generate leads. Frank Calabro Jr. and a lot of others talk about the importance of generating leads, right? That's number one. Number two, we help people sell more products or services, whatever. We do that through sales funnels, creating a capture page, attaching an autoresponder campaign to that, and redirecting people to a sales page. But the beauty, and that's when the light bulb went on for Frank Calabro Jr., was when we created the sales funnel duplicator. So you not only can create your own sales funnel, but now you can share it and give it to anybody and everybody, or vice versa. Maybe you'll never create a sales funnel, but you can use one that Frank created or someone else. So you can take the best, the best promotion, best recruiting efforts that someone's ever made, like Frank Calabro, and you can have access to that 24/7, not just for yourself, but for your entire team. So number one, we're a lead generation tool. Number two, we help anyone sell more products and services. Number three, we help people recruit more people to sell their products and services. So yeah, you'll make a lot more money when, number one, you have more leads. Number two, you're using sales funnels to sell more products or services. But number three, when you now can create and share sales funnels or use ones that someone else did to recruit other people to sell your products and services. So that's the third thing. And then number four, we pay 67% and 33% on the residual part of people using the Power Lead system month after month after month. We've got one of the highest paying affiliate programs out there. And then we have some one-time upsells of 3 great traffic training tools: Free Ad Secrets, Social Profit Academy, and Master Traffic Institute, which I believe everybody should have. And we're paying like 80% commission on that. We pay out every week in 188 countries. Our company that provides the technology has been in business since 1999. We've got a Facebook group, which is close to 50,000 people, with amazing people that are just freely giving of their time, answering questions and helping people. Amazing training every single week, like Franco and others, you know, Manny, etc. Every single week, you just got to direct people to the training. And, you know, take someone that you give a free lead system or Lead Lightning, a $7 product, you know, for life, that pays out $6 commission, and let Franco explain how that can turn into a whole lot more. So I've been behind, I'll summarize with this. I've been behind the curtain, so to speak, and had people, individual leaders and companies pay us $15,000 to create custom recruiting systems since 1999. PLS is the best thing I've ever seen for so many reasons. It's got Neil puts a ton of time and effort, pays programmers outside of our company to do specific things, utilizes you as a tool, pays other people, Franco, to do training, and you, and, you know, just he puts his money and his time into this. And it's the best platform, number one. We've been here since 1999. And we're going to be here, Lord willing, you know, for a long, long time. So all those companies that come and go, they'll come and go, but we'll still be here. And so I think Frank Calabro Jr. is very wise and woke up finally after 5.5 or whatever years to say, hey, I made over $600,000 in commissions from PLS. What if I led with it instead of made it the lost stepchild? And yeah, it's there in the background. And if you want my funnel, you got to sign up for PLS. But so, you know, we got a lot of solutions for a lot of people.
Well, I just want to wrap it up, you guys, and just say this. Michael, thank you for joining us today. It was great insights into your life and your background and the history of how things got created. You know, people got to hear the backstory of why we're here using this platform. Maybe they never heard that before, and they have new insights to what I'm going to say is a very special family, that everybody who's a part of this, and the 50,000 people who are in our Facebook group, and the users who are using us actively today, and the users who will come in the future that will watch these videos. You're a part of something special. You're a part of something that's huge. You're a part of something that's indestructible, that won't go away. And it can change your life if you just take the time to go dig deeper into it and go to those trainings and read those books and watch the videos and read the Roadmap to Riches, and then spend money. I'm not kidding. Spend as much money as you possibly can on advertising, good advertising, and measure that advertising. I mean, Michael's put metrics into the platform. Michael, I got to ask you real quick. I mean, metrics tracking. How does your system allow people to know if their ads are working or not working, or track, you know, links and to know if your link's getting clicked on? Like, what did you build into it to make sure that people could actually measure metrics to see what works and doesn't work?
Well, we have a tool called ad tracking. So it's real simple there. And, you know, and you can do it for every single lead capture page. So you can see how many people are clicking on it, how many people opted in, and what's the percentage. You can always reset it. You can have one for every single capture page. So you'll know, you know, you can have 2 different capture pages and send the same traffic vendor to both pages and see which one's got a higher converting, you know, what's getting a higher conversion. Capture page A or capture page B, you know, or once you figure out what you're, you know, use the same page with different headlines or different videos, so you can narrow it down to find out what's the best headline, what's the best video. Then, you know, once you got your best capture page, Well, then I would create two versions of that and send 2 different vendors or 3 or 5 and go, which vendor is giving me the best results? Okay. So yeah, if you're not measuring, Rob talked about measuring. I know Frank Calabro measures things every day. Look at the successful people. They measure, right? If you don't measure your stuff, you're throwing money away. I actually shared a story yesterday. I went to an event in 2007, through Russell Brunson, and he had all these people come up on the stage and they present for an hour and sell $1,000 or $2,000 product, right? And I'm like, yeah, this, no, yes, no. And then I got to the end, and this guy, Matt Basek, he came up, scruffy beard, shorts, tennis shoes, and he was selling a $7,000 product. And I'm thinking, no, when I first looked at him, I judged him, right? No way. This guy's not as professional as all these other guys. Armin Morin was in a suit and tie. He was an 8-figure earner. And, Armin's selling something for $1,000 and Matt's selling something for $7,000. What Matt said caught my attention. He says, you got to know your numbers. And he went on. I still wasn't ready to buy. He added value. He's like, hey, whoever wants to, I got free dinner tonight in the hotel. I'm like, I'm up for free dinner. And I went to the free dinner. And then, he's like, hey, you got any questions? And long story short, I signed up for a $7,000 program. And I was one of 9 other people. 10 of us went to his office in Atlanta, Georgia, spent the weekend learning why this guy's a major marketer. So I agree with you. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, know your numbers. What's the value of one key idea acted upon consistently over time? Life-changing, life-changing.
All right. Well, this has been a life-changing interview. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you share this with your teams and your people. I hope you watch the other interviews. We've got several more to go, you guys. We're just going to keep pumping out content and keep inspiring you guys with awesome stories. And we wish you all the best and success in your Power Lead System journey. See you guys on the next interview. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Jeff. Great job.